Yes, we are live now. Greetings, dear friends and respected participants. Wish you all a happy, prosperous, and healthy New Year. Welcome to the fourth edition of Fundamentals in Quality Management. Dear friends, we have with us two distinguished personalities. Our today's eminent speaker is a distinguished alumnus of IIT Mumbai, Sri Suresh Lulaji. Lulaji has made an indelible mark through his work in the field of quality. Lulaji pioneered the quality movement in India by setting up Quimpro Consultants in 1987. Often referred to as the quality guru of India, he was mentored by Dr. J.M. Juran, the father of quality, who along with Mahatma Gandhi and Sri Ramakrishna Bajaj form the trinity of Mr. Lula's role models. Lulaji is a veteran professional with 50 years of experience as a management consultant, speaker, trainer, author, and storyteller. We also have with us the head of Department of Commerce, Dr. Sandeep Shanai, a civil engineer with post-graduation and PhD in finance. Dr. Shanai heads Department of Commerce and he is also the Director Compliance of MAHE. Dr. Shanai was instrumental in making Department of Commerce, MAHE, as the most prominent department of the university. With this brief introduction, I welcome Suresh Lulla sir and Sandeep sir. Now, may I request Dr. Sandeep Shanai to make his introductory remarks. Over to you, Sandeep sir.
Thank you, Dasharathraj. Good morning to all of you. Building an organization is both art and science with a major focus on the customer. Pdca is one of the management methods used by the majority of the organizations. Pdca PDCA implies plan, do, check, act, or plan, do, check, adjust. It is an iterative four-step management method used in business for the control and continuous improvement of processes and products. It is also known as Deming circle or cycle or wheel, the Sheward cycle, or also known as sometimes control circle or cycle or plan, do, study, act. Today's theme of discussion is customer first always. In this regard, Quimpro is hosting this program in association with Department of Commerce MAHE as its knowledge partner. This is a golden opportunity for all of you to learn from Sri Suresh Lulla, an IIT alumnus, often referred to as Quality Guru of India and founder of Quimpro, which is involved in conceptualizing and organizing various quality awards, competitions, and provide consultancy to corporates. He is the direct student of Dr. Juran. Suresh Lulla has helped top companies save crores by reducing the cost of poor quality. MAHE, an institution of eminence, is always synonymous with quality and has showcased this by winning many national and international quality awards and also by finding a place in top global rankings. Suresh Lulla will be discussing the importance of customer focus using the Fable customer first always, along with Dr. Dasharathraj Shetty. Dasharath is an associate professor at MIT Manipal. He is one of the most decorated RBNQA examiners and has contributed MAHE and primarily MIT in its quality journey to achieve excellence. I am happy to state that Dr. Dasharath is my student and has been trained under my mentorship. Dasharathraj will pole vault the lessons learned from the Fable to educational excellence. This is the fourth in the series of this monthly program. I welcome all of you to join in this excellence journey. Wish you all a happy new year. Enjoy the first session of this year. Have a nice day. Over to you, Dasharathraj.
Thank you, Sandeep first. Thank you, Sandeep sir, for those kind words and the insightful words also. Today, excellence in education is a topic of global interest. Universities compete for highest quality of research and top students. They are also ranked against each other in global university rankings. Striving for excellence is trying to do the best. Excellence journey should make all the stakeholders give their best. Humans have always told stories, and they are a vital part of our daily communication. But stories have meaning beyond entertainment value. Storytelling is a vital business skill, and when implemented effectively, it can boost a business in several ways, such as improving customer loyalty, creating a strong marketing strategy, increasing profit, and so on. Today, let us listen to Sri Sulesh Lulaji, the author of 100 Quality Fables, and try to pole vault the same to achieve educational excellence. Today's topic for discussion is customers first always. This fable emphasizes about the role of understanding customers in the quality journey. Welcome Lula sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dasharathraj, for the introduction. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Shenoy, for your kind words. Greetings to all the faculty and students attending today's program. As mentioned earlier, it's the first Sunday of 2001. 2021. It gets complicated. I'm going to speak on a subject that I'm very passionate about. And if any of you can recall, Mahatma Gandhi was the most passionate about treat your customer with dignity. Mahatma Gandhi has appeared on the cover of several quality journals, which we don't realize. Sri Ramakrishna Bajaj started a consumer protection movement in the 1930s. That was radical. These two are my role models, apart from Dr. Julian. You will also note that we have now graduated to Kimpro Foundation from Kimpro Consultants. Kimpro Foundation, the primary focus is quality improvement in healthcare and quality improvement in education. So it's very appropriate that we transfer this webinar series to the foundation. Kimpro Foundation also recognizes individuals, statesmen, and leaders in business, healthcare, and education. Thank you, Dr. Dashrath, for conceptualizing this faculty development program. And you are absolutely right. Stories is a great medium for communication. And when you think of it, attention spans of adults are shrinking. They're shrinking to almost that of a child. If you can't capture their attention in 7 to 10 minutes, you've lost them. So stories and quality fables. A quality fable is not about animals or fiction. It's facts with a little bit of fiction. And it involves real people, real experiences. This current quality fable that follows, customer first always, demonstrates the simple art and science for building a customer-focused organization. The challenge is simple. We like complicated processes. We need to have simple processes. Simple processes are usually more difficult to implement. If I were to ask you, who defines quality? You would probably tell me the industry defines standards for quality. My question to you is, what is a standard? A standard is the model value of performance of the industry. The model, the most frequent value. So if you are pursuing accomplishment of a standard, you are doomed to mediocrity. Dr. Durant said, put aside standards by industry. Customer is defining quality in the marketplace. The customer has a choice. The customer will vote for you with their money if you fulfill their perception of features and performance. Customer first, always. I have done much consulting over 3 decades in quality and 2 decades in general management. How often have you seen at the reception of an organization posters claiming customer first? Customer is always right. How often have you actually experienced it? The current story, customer first always, is about an expatriate who came into the country, and I learned from him the simplicity of creating a customer-focused organization. I'd like to go back to the mid-1990s when Narasimha Rao liberated our economy with Dr. Manmohan Singh. The license Raj ended and we moved into a liberal economy. We were not accustomed to that. We were accustomed to controls from the government, quotas. Everyone got a license to produce only so much. So you had large groups that had multiple plants across the country producing the same thing under different brand names. They got their licenses accordingly. In a liberal economy, imports were also permitted, and you had to compete. In this competition, customer was king. The customer had a choice. In a licensed Raj, you took what was given to you. We were mediocres. In this liberalization for the pharma industry, for the first time, 51% foreign ownership was permitted. So, organization that had been headed by an Indian for 2 decades prior, suddenly, with a foreign company willing to invest 2% more and switched the scale in its favor to 51%, wanted one of their persons to head the organization. This Indian organization was now to be led by a foreign ownership. The person who arrived was of South American origin. He had worked in Africa and Southeast Asia. He had never touched the Indian soil. The mandate given to him by the head office in Europe was transform the Indian organization into a customer-focused one in 1,000 days, the equivalent of, say, 3 years. It was week 2 of his being chief executive in India, and I went to his office at Nariman Point overlooking the Arabian Sea. It was monsoon time and the rain was lashing on the windows. After the formalities, he explained to me what his mission was: to transform the organization to a customer-focused one in 1,000 days. What he shocked me with was that he had already achieved his goal. We were only in his second week. So he explained to me the simple approach he adopted. On his second day in his posting, he invited all the top executives to the boardroom and asked them all to write on a foolscap sheet of paper the list of customers. So they wrote the names of stockists, chemists, etc. Victor corrected their perception. He said, I would like to define the customer as the person who receives the output of your work. So each executive was now asked to write who do they interface with. Each of them made a longer list than the other. It was a matter of status. How many people do you interact with? How many outputs do you give? And he asked next, what do you deliver to this customer? Put it in the second column. There was silence. They were not sure what they were delivering. How do you measure your performance with the customer? Total silence. When did you last meet your customer? Oh, I meet them daily. They were all very excited. We meet them daily in the carpool, at the canteen. He said, no. When did you proactively meet your customer? So he said, never mind, let's make a plan. Why don't you list your A category customers and proactively have a 10 minutes weekly meeting at the desk of your customer. Hierarchy didn't matter. With an agenda point, how can I improve my offerings to you? I want you to log it, and I, Victor, will come and audit your promise. He said, next, I will ask each of you to do the same with the next level. And I will audit your ability to audit. What is an audit? There's a practice. I say what I do. So do you do what you say? That's all. Underlying all this is the principle of a plan. He created a plan, actually implementing it at multiple levels, checking, reviewing. Now, according to Victor, an audit was all about audit, review, and improvement. ARI. I will audit what you said you do. I will review if it is the best practice. And you will act with an improvement. So I said, now how do you plan to inform everyone, communicate? He said, no, I trust the grapevine for communication. People are not stupid. They see where I am spending my time, how I am spending my time, and they will align. I don't have to tell them. His faith in the grapevine was very vast. No circulars, nothing. The organization transformed. Thank you. Over to you, Dasharathraj.
Thank you, Lula sir, for those wonderful words, and it was a great learning experience for me. In between, I had to modify my slides as well based on your. Dear friends, now let us try to pole vault whatever we have learned from Lula sir to the educational domain. I'll load my presentation now. So let us try to apply the learnings to the education domain. Now, one important word that was discussed today was about customer. So when we talk of consumer and customer, the general definition or notion is a consumer is one who consumes or uses the goods or services. Customer is one who purchases the goods and services and makes the payment. Sometimes a consumer, when the payment is made by the consumer himself, so both of them merge. Now, the basic question here for us in education domain is student a consumer or a product? because a student enters our domain as a raw product, as a raw material. Then we groom him, or he undergoes grooming, and he our customers are the other higher educational institutions or the placement agencies or so on. Now there is always a debate as to is a student a consumer of our services, or is he a product? So it's like a coffee toffee debate. We can never conclude that whether he is a consumer or a product. Maybe he's both of that. But what we have to realize here is that we have to concentrate, as with any service in education, the customer's participation is crucial. So better learning occurs when students are actively involved in the process of acquiring new knowledge. So instead of debating more on is he a consumer or a product, we'll have to see how our services are delivered and how it is accepted and how our students participate in the whole process. Usually the decisions and actions of our students depend upon these four aspects. So his passion towards learning this specific course or particular subject. He might have taken up this subject because of his parental influence or daughter to be a doctor, so on. Maybe the peer influence, all my friends have taken up this particular course, I will act accordingly. Or future possibilities, what will be the placement opportunities and other things. So all these four factors actually matter, and based on these four factors, the students decide and act in a particular manner. So we, as the organizations providing education, will have to take into account all these factors. So when we talk, a student may be entering his, entering our frontiers with some aspirations, but we'll also have to understand what are his aspirations, his friends' aspirations, his people around him, and even his parents, because his behavior is defined by all the four of these people. Now, if we want to classify the students, we can classify the students into four major categories. So we have some students who have very low clarity on what they want to do, and their abilities or performance is also but low. So we can call them tramps. Tramps may be a harsh word, but they are not clear about what they want to do. They are having less ability. So we also may have to have such set of students. So we have to handhold them and help them out. So understand what are their needs. Then we have students with high ability but less clarity on what to do. Then we have some students, we have very low ability but very high clarity. So what they will do is they will optimize their preferences, choices, and so on. Then there are set of students who have very high clarity on what they want to do and they have high ability. They are the precisionists. These are the people who want exactly everything. They want precise things. So these students demand more from any system because they have joined or entered your particular system because they are very precise and they have decided that they want this and they are bound to do that in that particular manner. So if you don't satisfy these students with a high precision, they will be a disgruntled set of customers. So they are very sensitive customers. So we have four set of categories here. Now, coming back to our learnings today here, why I gave you this overview is that we wanted to know what are the factors that influence students and their actions, and what are the types of students. Now we know that there are four sets of students. Now during Lola sir's presentation today, we came to know that we have to proactively meet our customers. During the Fable, we understood. So if I would like to share some of the best practices from my institute. So we have one program, apart from we have a class committee meeting monthly. We have a subject committee monthly meeting, and a number of committee meetings which are regularly. We interact, teachers, students, all of them sit together, interact, and what are the problems they face. So on, these discussions do happen. But even the top management is interested in meeting the students and understanding what are the difficulties, or the ins and outs of what's going around. So one of the measures is a tea with the director. So here the director of Mighty meets students who are performers in the various fields, not only in academics but sports, cultural activities, and so on. And they interact in a very informal manner. So this helps the director to understand the performers of the various fields. So he gets to know what the students are doing, what are their aspirations, and so on. This is one of the best practices. Next, we have one more program called as Walk with the Director, where when a new set of students join our organization, the director himself walks around the campus with the parents and the newly joined students. So this gives the opportunity to the parents and the students to interact with the director, and also to the also for the director to understand about the new students, know about their aspirations, and so on. This is an annual event, and director of Mighty also stays in the campus, and he goes for the walks or rounds, and this is the time he is open for discussion with all his students, teachers, and so on. This is another aspect of it. Then we have the Directorate of Student Affairs at the university level, and we also have Associate Director Student Welfare at our institute level. These are open to the students always. They enter, they discuss with the higher ups or the people who are in charge of the student affairs. We also have a full-fledged student council office. So why I have put here is this is a student council office. No organization will be able to boast of this, I feel. In the sense, the student council, of which is a representative body of student, has a full-fledged regular office with office space. It is almost like a regular corporate office where the student representatives sit in that particular office whenever they don't have class, and they're open where the students come and meet their representatives. And this is a full-fledged office with all the office facilities. So here they are the representatives of the student. They collect the information, grievances, and so on. They chalk out programs for students, and these student representatives in turn then have regular meetings with the director and other higher ups. So the voice of the customer is heard from the lowest level. There is a chance that the customer directly approaches the higher management, or through the student council he approaches the higher management. We also have student support center, where student they may be having some mental issues and other things which may not be able to tell the regular faculty or the student council members. They directly go there. The anonymity is maintained, and they uh, tell what problems they are facing. So we proactively meet our customers, understand their problems, and try to resolve them. Next, Lula sir, during his presentation, spoke about the audit, review, and improve. So our normal PDCA cycle, as Lula sir said, emphasizes on I say what I do. And then the next question is, do you do what you say? But the component that we have to lay more emphasis is on auditing on what I say and am I doing what I said? And more than that, review that and understand whether all the what am I doing are they best in the particular category. If not, work on that and then try to improve. So this morning when I was having discussion with Lula sir, he said people make quality. It's the part of the DNA in an organization. So he emphasized the fact that you have to always challenge the established standards proactively. Once the standards are established, then you will have to always challenge the established standards and try to improve from where the from where you are by challenging the standards. So we have programs like the curriculum conclave. Curriculum conclave is the event where all the stakeholders come together and discuss various issues right from the syllabus to the course delivery to the labs and any other assessment patterns, everything together. In the sense, there are student representatives from the all sections, all branches, from the top graders to the students who have from the lower CGPA grade, the faculty members, external experts, the industry experts, everyone come and express their views about the existing standards. And this is not as part of any AICT or UGC guidelines, but as we try to challenge proactively the well-established standards. And these learnings from this curriculum conclave, which sometimes goes on for 3 or 4 days, are recorded. Once these presentations are recorded, we try to improve on the existing standards and set new standards and try to do things which are best in the uh, particular category. So this is how MIT or MAHE challenges proactively the existing standards. Then we also have academic audits apart from the regular quality audits, where external experts, people from the other top universities come to our campus, go through all our academic processes, check our standards that we have set, and based on the suggestions, the standards are reset and new standards are set for us to follow. And this is a continuous process. All these things are carried out so that we deliver the best to the students. As a result, Manipal is today globally recognized and ranked in QS and the World University ranking. In QS ranking 2021, Manipal stands 751 800 band globally. It stands 239 in Asia and 120 in BRICS and 26 in India by QS ranking. All this could, and we are moving ahead with higher pace. And all this was possible just because, as Lula sir rightly suggested, that we are challenging the established standards proactively. With this, I hope I was able to connect the learnings from Lula sir's lecture uh, to the education domain. There are many other best practices. Due to the paucity of time, I was not able to convey everything, but we'll have many more learnings in our coming sessions. Now let us move on to the question and answer session. Now I request the audience to ask the questions, and to Lula sir, you can type your questions in the chat window, and Lula sir would be taking those questions.
While we're waiting for the questions,
Yes, sir.
let's demystify quality.
Yes, sir.
All it involves is a customer receiving an output from a process. Those are the only terms you should know. Customer, output, process. Now, what makes it more challenging for education is that customer is part of your process. You can perform well if your customers also interact with you, your students, your faculty. I would recommend, based on your RBNQA experience, that for customer satisfaction, we need to conduct focus group meetings. That's more than a survey. Small groups. And if you have the right facilitation, you can extract learnings that will enable you to improve. It'll enable you to capitalize on the strengths you have to build your branding. Ultimately, Manipal earns a reputation from the output. Now, I'm changing the definition of output. It's the
Sir, you are not audible. Yeah.
how are these students groomed for being useful in industry? It's not just a question of, I got a placement. You'll measure your performance if the induction programs in the organization are redundant. Because I've got a graduate from Manipal. And what industry wants is your ability to solve problems. We have a digital course on that. You can take a look at it. Ability to solve chronic problems. Ability to define a problem. And soft skills. And what industry wants. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So you're going to need people who are groomed with soft skills, communication, how to conduct a meeting, etc. Now, if industry wants that, see how you can weave it into your curriculum if you're not already doing it. So you're going to need people who are groomed with soft. I'm sorry, I can't hear. Can you help me, Raja?
I can hear you, sir. Hello?
No, someone said something I couldn't.
Okay, we can continue. There's one question from the audience.
What is the question?
How does quality surveillance improve customer satisfaction? I think that's the whole gist of our presentation.
Quality surveillance of your organization.
He just asked how, it's from Dr. Ghanshyam. The question is, how does quality surveillance improve customer satisfaction?
I don't know. Because surveillance is a prerequisite. You have to. Surveillance of. Hello.
Some network issue. You can continue.
Surveillance is an absolute necessity, but it isn't the answer. The answer is the habit of continual improvement, continual innovation, benchmarking best practices. Unless you get that into the DNA, just a surveillance by itself will say, okay, you've done what you did. It's like in financial management. How do you manage for finance? Financial planning for the budget, financial control for MIS, financial improvement through task forces. Now, to do financial management, you need an accounting system. And the accounting system gets audited. The fact that the accounting system is audited doesn't guarantee you profit. So surveillance doesn't guarantee you quality in the eyes of the customer. You have to proactively chase the customer, not the competition. We spend more time chasing competition. You need to chase the customer. Customer segmentation is more important than market segmentation. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
There is one more question by Dr. N.B. Reddy. The question is there any rule of thumb to specify the percentage of time or efforts to be spent in each activity in the PDCA cycle?
It's not the time. It's who has to do it. The P, the plan, is a leadership responsibility. Do is delegable. C is non-delegable. The leaders must check, audit, review. A, acting on the difference, is delegable. So leadership should define how much time they're going to spend. Is it going to be 1 day a week? Can you see what I'm leading to? Why is it that quality is not represented in the boardroom? We're all saying customer pays your salary, but quality is not in the boardroom. That's the issue.
Thank you, sir. Audience, do you have any more questions? One of the audience, one of the participants is asking, can we have a separate session on TQM in the coming days?
On TQM?
Yeah, that was one of the requests.
One session won't be enough for TQM, but we can plan to have carefully identify fables that will build on TQM. But for those of you interested in this, I would direct you to my personal website. I write an edu blog, and I'm currently writing on world-class quality, which is TQM. So the last 6 or 7 blogs have been in that direction. So take a look at sureshlula.com.
There's one more question. The question is, Does Quimpro offer any certification program on PDCA?
On PDCA,
Yeah.
we can co-design it with Manipal University, but there's no specific certification program on PDCA. PDCA, I'll just give you a little anecdote. How many of you are aware that Walter Schuhart, Edward Stemming, and Dr. Duran worked in the same department in Western Electric in Minneapolis? Schuhart was the boss. The PDCA is the Schuhart cycle that was popularized by Deming. And when it came to Japan, Deming went first and called Duran to help. So the three of them all in one department, can you imagine it? And all three are the authorities. Okay.
One more question by Ms. Lakshmi Pandit. The question is how PDCA can be implemented in a dying organization.
A dying organization.
Yeah. It's DIEING.
Well, the first thing is you've got to bring health back. And you bring the health back by looking at your processes, mapping them, and establishing the cost of poor quality. You want to improve the bottom line? First, understand how much wasteful costs you're doing, or are you completely out of sync with what customers want? For effectiveness, for top line, you need to know your customer. For bottom line, you need efficiency of your processes, which should help in reducing wasteful costs, cost of poor quality. You have to work on both fronts. So dying organizations, find out how relevant are its offerings to customers. Do you have a market anymore? Because products and organizations have a product life cycle. And these life cycles are shrinking now because there's so much innovation, so much digitizing, so much happening that suddenly what was a benchmark is gone. It's been replaced. You can see it happening in healthcare. You can see it happening in education. Classroom education is being questioned. We couldn't be having a seminar with all of you from across the country and probably neighboring countries participating without technology. Now I don't have to stand before an audience. You don't have to travel and incur those costs. You have to find disruptive ways of thinking, which means right brain thinking, creative thinking. Your creativity has probably gone dormant in most people because the education system, let me go back. A child uses the right brain. They know how to communicate. They get away with creative ways of communicating. Then, unfortunately, you send that child to school. And in school, it is all left brain, logic, mathematics, science, commerce, accounting. All these kind of professions are very left brain. If you don't use your right brain, it goes dormant. Now you need to reactivate that right brain because that's the need of the hour. Life cycles of products, processes, organizations have shrunk so much that when you launch one, you should know what will happen in the third generation.
So there is one more question by Dr. Rhoda. The question is, should the people who did the planning be involved in all the processes until the act?
See, that may create a lot of activity in an organization, getting all the processes. Now you have to learn to use Pareto principle to identify what are the vital few processes. For the vital few processes, the senior leaders must be involved. And as you cascade down, you can delegate to others. But you can't expect a leader to sit with all the process. There's so many processes in an organization. Prioritize. Pick 3, 4 processes which will tell you the pulse of the organization. In Ayurveda, you just touch the hand and you can give a whole analysis which which otherwise requires so many tests. So you have to now learn to feel the pulse, the vital few, and move from there. The leaders have to take that.
We'll take the last question, sir. It is from Dr. Avik Adhikari. How can the organization convince the customers as well as their own employees that a change is beneficial for them?
Which customer are you going to convince? Customer looks at you comparing it with competition. Competitors commoditize whatever changes you're making very fast now. So your differentiation is gone. You have to proactively innovate. What are the core competencies of a world-class organization? There are only 3. The first is ability to understand the customer faster than your competitors. 2, ability to translate what you hear faster than your competition. That means the product and process design. I'm talking of designing, I'm talking of customer. And third, the ability to outsource your processes. You want to be as much a variable cost company because your life cycles are shrinking. You don't want to be stuck with fixed costs. How can you outsource? These have to be the 3 core competencies. If you have them, you will move with all the rapid change happening.
Lula sir, I think we have no more questions. I would request you to introduce about our next edition's topic. Give us just a small overview, like what we will be discussing in our next session.
Okay, can I move to that slide? You'll have to give me the screen.
Yes, sir. I've given you the permission to share the screen.
Peels and meals. This is a very classic problem solving. If I tell you what it contains now, you'll miss out next time. But essentially, it talks about cost of poor quality.
Okay.
Cost of poor quality everywhere. And when you save the money, what do? Give it to the shareholder? Or do you create a trust for the workers? And the workers benefit from it, from saving. It's not taken away by the investors. Customer, the worker welfare. That's what you will hear.
Thank you, Lula sir, for that wonderful presentation and very informative question answer sessions. Thank you, Sandeep sir.
Thank you.
With this, we come to the end of today's session on customer first always, with emphasis on plan, do, check, and learn.